Hi there, everybody, and welcome to the latest Newcastle United news right here on the Toon Review. My name's Paul. Thank you so much for tuning in. As usual, if you do enjoy the video, please do give it the thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel and you like what you see, why not subscribe? Come and join this amazing community. It is free to do so. And remember to hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload like this or one of our live shows. Now, I was going to do, obviously, a live show this morning. We do tend to do them around 11:30 every morning, but there just wasn't enough news, guys. And I don't want to keep repeating the same old stories just to produce content. I don't want to do that. I don't want to keep repeating myself over the same news over and over again. But I always did say that if news broke in an afternoon, we'd cover it on an evening show or I would do a video. Now, because we've got the watch along tonight, I'm doing a video covering all the latest news. So I still hope you enjoy the video itself. Now, one story that is breaking literally half an hour before I did this video, reports are saying that Newcastle United are trying to hijack Aston Villa's bid to bring in Matteo Guendouzi. Now, that name will ring a bell to a lot of Newcastle United fans and football fans in general, because Guendouzi, of course, came through with Arsenal and got into their first team. He played 82 times for them and did reasonably well. Now, he's gone off and played around Europe since then. I think he went to France and now he's at Lazio, and Lazio are looking to cash in on him. Now, Villa's expected bid or accepted bid was around £21.1 million. But as I say, these news reports are breaking now saying Newcastle United are very interested in hijacking this deal. But for me, it's weird. It's very strange because Guendouzi is a centre midfielder. Yes, he's tenacious. He likes to get stuck in. Is he an Eddie Howe type of player? Possibly. Because he's a ball winner. He likes to, he can play on the ball as well, but he's very tenacious in midfield. But the amount of midfielders that we've got at the club it's kind of confusing as to why we'd spend 20 odd million on a player that isn't going to get in the team every week. You look at where our midfield stands at the minute, and certainly the three, if he continues a 4-3-3 formation, is going to be Bruno Tonali and Joe Linton. I don't think anybody's in any doubt about that, what our midfield will look like next season. But there is obviously a squad to be built, and if we can bring in quality to, make that squad just a bit better, then maybe that's why we're looking at him. This has come out the blue this afternoon. I mean, Guendouzi's never been mentioned with Newcastle United. But like I say, he's plenty of experience. 82 appearances for Arsenal. To get 82 appearances for Arsenal, you have to be a decent player. Let's be fair. But it's a strange one for me because I'm trying to work out why we would need to go for another midfielder when we've got so many on the books. You've got Willock there, Longstaff, Miley, who's obviously currently injured, but he's still there. And obviously, the midfield is packed. So where Guendouzi fits into this, I don't know. But obviously, Newcastle are very interested in him. Now, again, I'm not sitting here saying that Newcastle United are going to be successful in their hijacking of this Villa bid. He may well just end up at Villa and play for Emery. And, of course, they've got the Champions League pull this season, haven't they? So he could be looking at that. But we'll see how that story plays out. Now, Celtic, who were very, very interested in bringing in goalkeeper Martin Dubravka. And this is a transfer I think that Newcastle were relying on happening because of the goalkeepers that they've already brought in. So obviously we brought in the Forest keeper, we brought in John Ruddy as well. So there's 5 goalkeepers currently on the books. So I think Newcastle were really wanting this to happen and probably thought it was going to happen. Turns out Brendan Rodgers may be looking elsewhere for a goalkeeper. I think the Slavia Prague goalkeeper's been mentioned. And now Dubravka's situation remains very, very uncertain at Newcastle United because, as we know, he came out with comments in an interview a couple of weeks ago while he was still at the Euros, saying he would have to have a very big conversation with Eddie Howe. He wasn't aware of anything going on. I think he would have been aware of Celtic's interest. I've got no doubt about that. And Newcastle United apparently valued Dubravka at £3 million. So it was a really cheap option for Celtic. I think the goalkeeper they're now looking at is going to cost them around 8. But he's younger and probably a bit better than Dubravka, given Dubravka's age now. So whether Celtic are looking at that and thinking, yeah, he's aged quite a bit now and we'll go for a younger option. But Newcastle United were really relying on this transfer to go through. So it looks like Dubravka at the moment is going to be in a bit of limbo until they can find out or sort out another transfer for him. So I think his agent's going to be quite busy working out another one, because I think everybody looked to be convinced that Celtic was going to be Dubravka's next club, but it don't look like that's going to happen, folks. Now, one player that was on the radar, certainly when Dan Ashworth was here, was Crystal Palace and England centre-back Marc Guehi. Now, these reports are stating that Ashworth was very interested in bringing him before he jumped ship to the Skip Rats down the road at Manchester United. But apparently the club is still very interested in bringing him in. Paul Mitchell is a big fan of his, and he's refused to sign a new deal at Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace are saying that they're still hopeful that Guehi will sign a new deal with them. But a lot of media reports are suggesting that he's not going to sign a new deal because he wants to move on. And Newcastle United are, of course, well in the running to sign Marc Guehi. Now, we did say on many of our shows that there could be a possibility where Newcastle United bring in a couple of marquee signings this summer. Certainly the right wing, and of course a big star centre-back. We've already brought in Lloyd Kelly, of course, but a marquee name. And Guehi certainly would be that. He's done fantastically well for England at the Euros, given that a lot of people were very doubtful about his performances before we were going into this tournament. But I think Guehi himself has been one of the standout players for England in this tournament, without a shadow of a doubt for me. 50 million quid is his valuation at the minute. Now, whether that goes up or down, I have no idea. But for a player who, I mean, look, he's still quite young. I think he's only about 24, Marc Guehi. So he's still got a lot of learning to do. He hasn't hit his peak level yet. I think it will be an excellent signing for Newcastle United. Absolutely superb signing. He's expected to make a decision after the Euros, of course, which will be finished on Sunday, all done and dusted, which is when I think the transfer system, all the transfers will ramp up a little bit. Newcastle United will probably get more links to more players, if you can actually believe that, given who we've been linked with already this summer. But Guehi is a player that I'd love to see at Newcastle United. Obviously Cher's still there, but he's not going to be around forever. Lloyd Kelly can play there. Dan Burn, but he's getting on now, of course. So, they're on the back end of their careers, Dan Burn and Fabian Cher. Marc Guehi is coming through, and, a future of Botman and Guehi with Lloyd Kelly there as well. I mean, come on, that's not bad central defenders to have on the books, is it, really? So again, let's see what happens with it. But there is quite a few reports that Newcastle United, especially since Paul Mitchell has been announced, are still very interested in bringing the centre-back to Newcastle. So keep an eye on that one. Another player who has been heavily linked with us over the summer is Anthony Elanga from Nottingham Forest. Now, there is numerous reports today or this afternoon saying that we are still very, very interested in this deal to happen. At first, this was going to be a part of our Elliot Anderson's deal, of course, on the PSR deadline. There was reports that there was a swap deal or, the player in cash to Newcastle United, etc. That didn't happen for whatever reason, but the interest is still very much there. And you know what? There's been former players who've come out and said that he is a fantastic player. He's electric pace. He's great to watch. There's been a few doubts with Newcastle United fans, certainly when we've done our live shows. Are we really interested in him, or is this just another smokescreen? Because not many people see this as a marquee signing. But very interesting comments from Andy Cole, who's actually said that it would be an excellent move for Elanga to come to Newcastle United because he thinks he can really hit his peak working with Eddie Howe. Now, Andy Cole, of course, he knows a player. There's no doubt about that. He's what Andy Cole went through in his career, he's absolutely fantastic for us and, of course, Manchester United. So he knows a player. And realistically, when he's saying things like Elanga to come to Newcastle because of working with Eddie Howe, that just kind of gives you an indication that a lot of people feel that these players can really improve under Eddie and what he's done with players already since he's been at Newcastle United. So there's definitely something there. I think Newcastle United are hanging on because they want to see what happens with Miggy Almiron. Of course, they're trying to find him a transfer. Saudi is still, there's teams in Saudi still kicking around and things like that, but it's been very, very slow. A slow burner on Miggy at the minute, so I don't know what's going to happen with that. But we might see it excel. If Miggy does go, then Elanga could be brought in, but it might not be just Elanga. We could go for somebody else as well. We're squad building, remember, and that's the main thing to keep in mind. He's only 22, and there's been no valuation of him, so I'm not sure what Newcastle United would have to pay for him, but he is very, very much still on the radar. Now, another striker that's basically popped up is Manchester City forward Liam Delap. The 21-year-old is now linked with Newcastle United. Of course, if Callum Wilson does stay at Newcastle, then they'll probably look for a younger striker to act as that third striker. And Delap could well be that guy. He's reported to be imminently leaving Manchester City. Guardiola's expecting a lot of bids for him, but he did make a senior debut when he was 17. Southampton are interested in him. Ipswich are interested in him. But he could become a very good third striker for Newcastle United. 21-year-old. He's got a lot of experience already. So, let's see. But it wouldn't be such a bad move, would it? If Callum Wilson's staying, then we've got Isak Wilson and then Delap coming through, learning from Wilson and Isak. That's not necessarily a bad thing for me, but let me know what you think in the comments about that one. Now, finally, on the women's side of things, we have stung our rivals down in Wearside because we've announced the signing, incredibly, of Claudia Moan, who is she's 25-year-old goalkeeper who won the Golden Glove and Player of the Season in the Women's Championship last year. Now, obviously, Newcastle United women are now in that championship and will be facing Sunderland, but they have pinched another player from Sunderland. And this is a big one for me because Claudia Moan she's got a fantastic reputation. She comes with bags of experience. She's played for Becky Langley before when in university football, so Becky kind of already knows her. And this is a massive upgrade for me. Looking at the women's squad at the minute, but apparently it has not gone down very well on Wearside, which is understandable. They don't want to lose their best players to Newcastle United, but these days the new owners are really setting out what they want for the women's side of things as well, and the signing of Claudia Moan just excels that, and the fact that they've gone and took another player from Sunderland. Sunderland now, I kind of guess, realise that Newcastle United are serious about things and making sure that they are competitive in the Championship next season. Whether they get, another promotion, I think it's going to be a lot more difficult, obviously. But the players that they're bringing in, experienced Championship players who know the league. And let's face it, even if they don't get promotion, they can be very competitive. And I think that's what Becky's looking to do this season, is be competitive. And what comes of that, we'll see by the end of the season. But it's a magnificent signing. And there's a lot of tears and a lot of saltiness down on Wearside after this transfer was announced earlier today. But that's it, guys. Let me know, as usual, in the comments what you think of all the stories that have broken this afternoon. Some very interesting ones there. But as again, I'll say, we don't know if they're going to happen or not. These are just purely media reports that I'm doing a video on, getting your opinions on things and seeing what you think. Would any of these players appeal to you at Newcastle United? What do you think is going to happen with Dubravka now? And of course, Olivia Moan signing from Sunderland women to Newcastle women. Let me know what you think of that as well if you follow the women's team. But thank you very, very much for watching, guys. As I said at the start, if you have enjoyed it, please don't forget to hit that like button. And of course, if you're new to the channel and you like what you see, please do subscribe. It is free to do so, but always hit that notification bell, guys, so you never miss an upload like this one or when we schedule and go live. But thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day and take care.